Hello to all our friends and family. We are on another episode of Real Tips Live, and we have with us the lovely couple, the Rayfords. So,
Hey, how
Hey
y'all doing?
everybody, how are
All
y'all?
right.
so y'all share this video, invite your friends and family, and let's talk marriage.
All right. So one of the things that we wanted to discuss
Well,
today.
before you get
Mhm.
started on that, I like to open and I like for the couple to share. How did you guys meet before we jump into the
Y'all would do that, wouldn't you? Okay. You go ahead. All right. Okay. So, wow. All right. So, it's been 8 years. Yeah, it's been 8 years. Huh? No, I'm not talking about us together. I'm talking about when
Oh,
we met.
oh yeah. Hey.
Yeah. So 8 years ago, uh, I was just actually being called into ministry. I was rapping at the time.
topic?
So I was doing rap. I was rapping for God because I'd almost gave it up, and God told me to continue to do it. So I was rapping at the time, and a friend of mine by the name of Treva Gordon. She was friends with Bobby Jones, and they had this show going on, and they wanted some people to come on. So she had knew about the group that I was in called Trill, and then we had the boys and J Rad. I'll never forget. And she asked us to come and be a part of this event that was going on. So I said, all right, cool. So we decided to go. We came. We did our thing. It was awesome. But in the midst of that, I seen some praise dances that were like very anointed.
Hmm.
Uh, and so it's funny because I was talking to two young girls that were part of the praise team, and it was like talking to my little daughters or my little sisters because we laugh and joke and being silly. And then I asked them, I said, how can I get in tune with you guys? And one of them looked at me and said, well, my mom is our is our coordinator. I said, okay. Well, I love to meet her. So out of nowhere, uh, the young lady made sure she brought her mom to me, and I seen the most gorgeous smile I've ever seen in my life.
Oh,
And and it was awesome. And when I looked at her, I said right then and there, I said, "That's my wife." This is 8 years ago. Okay,
yeah.
Hmm.
all right. So if y'all know this young lady I'm talking about, she is like a queen of Facebook. Okay, so I'm saying to say this. I went on Facebook because you go on Facebook and you find anybody. So I went on Facebook. She gave me all the information. Only thing she didn't give me was the address, right? So I went on Facebook and I looked, and you scroll. You know how we do, KD, when we looking for something. We're looking for everything, right?
Oh yeah, we
Right.
definitely researching.
We're researching, Doc. So I looked, and the post said Mary.
Mm.
I said, okay. So right then, that was a cutoff for me. I said, okay, I said, all right, God. I said, what are you doing? I said, God, you got a sense of humor. Something ain't right. But through that, we still became the best of friends.
Mm.
Never did anything, never talked, inappropriate, any of that. Everything that we talked about from that day forth was ministry. That
Right.
was it. And I knew that something was to come out of it. I just didn't know what.
Mm.
Well, down the line, we fast forward. So fast forward down the line, um, like I said, I don't think this time we haven't talked for like 2 years. So within that time, I got married.
Mm.
Okay, so with me being married, um, somebody hit me on Facebook and said, look at your timeline. I looked on my timeline and I found out that the young lady I'm talking about now, who's sitting here next to me, her husband at that time had passed away.
Wow.
Wow.
So again, at this time, like I said, I'm married. I'm in my own thing, so I'm not thinking of anything else.
Mhm.
I hit her up and just told her, my condolences. I'm definitely praying for her. And if there's anything that she needs, let us know. We're there for her. She hit me back, and I think she gave me the service and everything. So I came and I showed my respects, showed love to her and her children. Then and I left out. Everything was everything. Well, I was going through some stuff, and I was actually going through my divorce at the time. So
Wow.
we have a mutual friend, and our mutual friend, however we met, it's crazy, but I'm gonna be, I'm very transparent, as y'all know.
Yeah.
I had my children with me, and I had a nice sized car, but I wasn't working, so I didn't have my funding like I needed to have it. So I asked my buddy if she would, let me borrow $20. I never, no, I said $10. She said, "Oh, that's fine. You got to come get it." So I went all the way to where she lived at to go pick up this $10. We talked for about a couple hours. And when she gave me $20, and she looked at me and she said, and I was talking to her about situations that I was going through and everything, and trying to figure out, what I need to do and if I'm going about it the right way.
Mm.
The last thing she said to me before I left, she said, Polo, we have a mutual friend. And I said, okay. And she said, her name is Tiana.
Mm.
Tiana. She said, yeah, Tiana White. I said, okay. And I'm sitting up here thinking, like, I'm up here talking about my problems. Why are you talking about Tiana White right now? And she said to me, she said, well, she lost her husband, and she had children, and she has a son. She said that I just know the type of person you are. And she said that I wouldn't entrust this with nobody else. She said, but I think you should reach out to her. And me being me, I'm sitting here like, why are we talking about Tiana White right now when I'm going through my own thing,
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, I let it go. I started to call one day, and then I didn't call. And finally, July 5th,
Uh.
I picked up my phone and I dialed the number. And she picked up. And surprisingly, because I'm going to be honest with y'all, any other time I talk to Tiana, it would take her like 5 rings to pick up. But she picked it up on the first ring.
Right.
And I said, how you doing? She said, I'm doing fine. She said, what's going on? And I said, well, we need to meet up. She said, okay. I said, yeah, we need to meet up. She was like, all right. I said, what are you looking like? She said, well, I'm actually on my way to Atlanta. I said,
Mm.
Atlanta? She said, yeah, I'm moving to Atlanta. I
Wow.
said, oh, there's that. Hey, dude, see, me and you must be brothers, because I swear I said the same exact thing. So anyway, she said, fine. She said, okay. And I said, all right, where would you like to meet at? She said, well, I'm out, I'm by the Bordeaux area. I said, well, that's funny because I'm driving through the Bordeaux area.
Yeah.
I said, so where can we meet at? She said, well, how about KFC? I said, all right, that's fine. Let's do it. So we gave her time we were going to meet. I'm rushing the story through for y'all. Once I got to KFC, this is how I knew also she was going to be my wife. And she pretty much allowed me to know exactly who she was, because here's the thing. She told me to be there at 3 o'clock. Well, let me tell y'all something. We didn't meet until 6 o'clock. All right,
Yeah.
I know y'all had that. I was there at 3 though. Okay, we're gonna put it like that. All right.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is the thing I will say. She came in. We sat. We ate. And when I tell y'all, we talked and we talked until KFC closed.
Wow.
Wow.
And I've never done that with anybody. So I knew this was special.
Yeah.
Mm.
She asked me a question. She said, so question, why did you, she asked me why did I get married when I got married while we were going through my divorce. And I told her that, I said, because my wife was already taken.
Wow.
Yeah. So from that day forth, we've been inseparable. October 12th, I asked her to be my wife. That was after everything on my end was finalized and everything
Yeah.
was done and finished. Um, and here we are. And
Man.
we've
So
been rocking ever since. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I I always love to hear how married couples meet
Yeah.
because a lot of people think it's like a bit surprise when I tell them that me and KD met on Facebook. Like I had always said that I would never meet anybody on the internet.
All right,
And we end up meeting on Facebook. So it's
Mhm.
amazing how God will allow two people to cross paths. And
Mm-hmm.
what you went through with your past husband, with him passing away, and then Polo going through his divorce, and how you may not understand it at the time, like, Lord, why are you taking him away from me? Your past
Yeah.
husband, you cannot understand it at the time, but God has a plan and a purpose in everything that he does.
Yep.
Yes.
If it wasn't for him, if it wasn't for God taking him and allowing, his time to be
Yeah.
on earth, you would have never met Polo.
Right.
It's amazing how God do things, even when our natural minds don't understand.
right.
God knows exactly how to set things up, and I think that is so
Exactly.
amazing. So,
Yeah, and I'll say this, God does set everything up,
Mhm.
before he does anything else. And even when my first husband, when he was laying in the hospital, because the doctors told me that he was going to be fine. They were going to do surgery on him, relieve the pressure, from the aneurysm, and he would just have to go through rehabilitation. He was going to be fine. That's what man said.
Right.
But God had a different plan. And like I tell anybody, I just believe that before he took his last breath, God had to assure him that his wife and his children would be okay.
Right.
And he brought, he, like, our cycle never stopped. I'll say that.
Mm.
It's like, it just, kept going. I
Yeah.
have a husband that loves me and go over and beyond for me and the kids. And it just, I don't know, it just fit perfectly. It really did.
Yeah.
People don't understand it, but I understand and we understand. So,
And that's all that matters, as long as I understand.
that's it.
And one more thing too with y'all story, something that I find so unique is the fact that Polo, that you found your wife during a time when you were going through your divorce, and you didn't allow. And a lot of people, when a lot of people go through divorce, you ask them about marriage, like, man, I ain't never getting married again. I ain't never doing
Right,
it again.
for sure.
But God let you knew right then and right there that marriage is still a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It is.
Just because you went through a divorce, just because you had one bad relationship, doesn't mean that you
Yeah.
should let that cut you off from the blessing of the person that God is trying to bring into your life.
Mm-hmm.
You it's not on you was not on all kind of blessings, all kind of opportunities when God is working and moving within your life like that. So
That's so real.
Yeah.
And you know what's so crazy? Because when I crazy, it's divine, Katie. That I've had people say, when I tell that story, I just don't believe that God told you He was gonna give you somebody else's wife. I said, well, that's funny for you to say that, because then we're saying that we're limiting God and saying God won't do anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you hear the story, then you know that it was our choice. And when I say our choice, I never once I found out she was married, I left her alone.
That's
You know
it.
what
You
I'm
did the
saying?
right
I
thing.
never bothered her. And I know me, and I'm gonna keep it all the way real with y'all. Back in the day, me, I'd have been on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I didn't, and because he wouldn't allow me to. I'm just gonna be
Yeah.
real with you. So, because I did what I was supposed to do, God blessed us from that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? God blessed us. He blessed our union because we did what we were supposed to do,
Yep.
instead of doing it our way. I mean, I'm pretty sure I was attracted to her just like she was attracted to me. But God didn't allow us to go past that, because guess what? She was still married. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And regardless of what happened, you have to do it how God wants you to do it. And if it's meant for you, if he said, I don't care if it takes you to you 75 years old and y'all finally walk up in a retirement home and decide to get married. Guess what? God's word is God's word. You
Exactly.
just have to wait. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem with us. We wanna mate and date, but we don't want to wait.
Right.
You know what I'm
Man.
saying? So,
Yeah.
I'm thankful. I'm thankful for what God has done, in that realm. Most definitely.
Amen.
Amen. For real.
Well, let's jump on into this real tip. So, the real tip we're going to talk about today is not letting money be an issue in your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And what we mean about that real tip is it doesn't matter who makes the most money in the house, it all belongs to the both of you. I have heard and seen situations where the husband may bring in more money and he feels as if he have to control everything because he's bringing in the most. I have actually heard of the wife bringing in the most and she want to control. No, we doing this, we doing that. Don't do this, don't do that. And it's not, marriage is not about control. Marriage is all about coming together as one because we are one flesh. When you get married, you're one flesh.
Yep.
It's not my stuff, my, is ours.
Mm.
And that's the point that I want married couples to get from this real tip is that it don't matter if the husband bring in the most, the wife bring in the most, it both belongs to the both of you. So
Yeah. So I mean, even with that, you can't really have a dictatorship because I know we spoke on this briefly during the last show.
mhm.
One thing about it, man, that I had to learn, I thank God I learned it early, was that if I'm making the most money, it doesn't matter as long as we're respecting each other. And that's one part about it. And it's not just that, it's respecting the spiritual authority that God has placed within the house. So, you know, everyone knows there's order in the marriage. It was, you know, God first. And then, you know, the husband, he's supposed to take his lead from God on how to lead his family. And that's what it's meant by when it says his wife will submit. But it's been situations where I know God has spoken to my wife and I submitted to that thing because I know I'm following out God's plan. So, and during that time, we never really let money become an issue.
And I think a lot of times when some husbands, not all of them now, but I really want to point out that some husbands, they have the mindset, since I'm the head, you know, I can control everything. Being the head is not about control. Being the head is simply taking your lead from God so that you can lead your family the right way. And I think that when you get into a situation where the husband is making the most money and then he already got the mindset of I'm the head and he think he can control everything. And that's not the way marriage is supposed to go. Right?
Right. Most definitely. Most definitely. I agree. You want to speak on that?
Yeah. So I do totally agree. And one thing that I love that Katie said was that number one, there has to be respect. There has to be respect on both ends when it in regards to finances. And especially like in a family like ours, like we're coming in with a entire blended family. You know, 16 total kids. You know, we got majority of kids in different states, and then we have the kids here. So the struggle that Pastor Polo and I had in the past, and we're working through kinks now, is just to making sure that we have that solid foundation and that respect for whoever makes the most money. Because really, when we met, like we both knew our financial story before we met. And so, you know, I already knew what he could bring to the table, but then I also knew that he had more in him to give than what he settles for.
Right.
So my job as a wife is, of course, to push him, to encourage him to do that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it just takes a lot of respect. It does take a lot of us coming together, building a foundation on that trust. Because if you don't have the trust, you know, because things happening, then you're going to be all over the place. So it does. I believe, and I've always believed that that what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine.
Exactly. Thank you for saying that.
But when it comes to the kinks that happens in relationships, okay?
Right.
That some things can cause distrust. Then something is broken and it has to be repaired and fixed in order to get back to that level of trust. You see what I mean? Y'all get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got you. I mean, and
So
I definitely applaud you for that. Especially the part when you said, you have to encourage. Because as a man, I know speaking on a male from a male perspective, I know my wife had to encourage me. And she had to push me up a lot of days when I did have my lazy moments and have my days when I used to be a real bad procrastinator. I was terrible at it. I can talk about it now because I'm delivered from now and I go ahead and get everything done. So, but it is what it took. It took me for one humbling myself. And what I mean by humbling myself is me moving that pride aside and actually realize like, okay, my wife is not doing this to fuss at me, but when she do starts fussing at time, because your wife should tell you something over and over again, and after a while, it's frustrating. The reason why it's frustrating is because like I'm trying to tell you something that'll help you, but you're not listening. It's just like sometimes when you tell the kids, like I'm telling you to leave this individual alone. I'm telling you don't do this, don't do that. And after a while, after repeating yourself so long, you become frustrated. But if we actually take the time out to humble ourselves and realize that, okay, this person is not telling me something to hurt me or not even to be in control of what I'm doing, they're actually giving me some good sound advice. And if I listen to that, I not only am I able to get more stuff done, not get me get the stuff done that I need to get done, but I'm able to get more stuff done now. And
mhm.
it's a part of, I know as a man, it's like, man, I ain't gonna listen to her. She ain't gonna tell me what to do. She ain't my mama. And see, so
Right.
when we get
Right.
grown, we ain't gotta listen to our mama no more. Now another woman is coming telling us what we feel like another woman is coming telling us what to do. But our wives are really helping. So man, if you're listening and you just got married, your wife is seeing some stuff and she know what you can do. Like your wife wants to see you succeed. And with her doing it, she's gonna push you. And that pushing, it may not always feel good, it may not always be comfortable, it may not be what you want to hear at the time, but it's definitely what you need in order for you to succeed. So I definitely applaud you on that.
You just said something too, because I'm sorry, not to cut you off, sis, but you just said something that was vital, because in the word in Genesis it says that when a man leaves his mother and father, he cleaves to his wife.
Right.
So I guess, okay. So I guess in some realm she does become that nurturer, and that voice of reason that mama used to be. If
Yeah.
that makes sense. And a lot of times, but see, the thing is too, I think everybody has to understand not just their position, but even their positioner's position, meaning that
Hmm.
you got to understand what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
So if you're coming into a relationship or a marriage and you're dealing with someone that didn't have a mother or didn't have a motherly mother,
Yeah.
you have to kind of fall back and take your time with that person,
Yeah.
because that person will feel like every time you coming at them, you're coming at them trying to be their mother when you're actually trying to be their wife.
Exactly.
Everybody's different. Just like women that never had a father. A lot of times as men, because we know our place, when we know our place, we come in as a position of saying, well, look, I am the head only because God called me the head.
Yeah.
They don't hear that. What they hear is, you the head and my daddy wasn't nothing anyway, and you coming in trying to be like my father. So a lot of times we have to fall back and
Hmm.
we have to be able to teach and be taught our position.
See?
And understand that we're not fathers and we're not the mother. We're one. I'm your husband, you're my wife, and I need you to talk to me like my wife, not my mother. I
Yeah.
need to hear you like your husband, not your father. I need to talk to you like your husband, not your father. We have
Exactly.
to understand our place, and that's the thing. A lot of times we don't, and not even that we don't. It's just the fact of we're so used to doing something, and when you
Right.
get used to doing this one thing, um, that overrides anything else that could possibly be done. So that goes back to finances. When we're dealing with finances, if you've been bred to do things one way, or forever you've been messed around when it comes to finances, if it comes to you trying to become one and make sure what yours is his and what his is yours, uh, those situations can mess up the marriage that God truly has for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot of things that we do in our past life, a lot of things that have happened in our past, we tend to say we don't, but we still bring baggage with us.
Yeah.
And we don't, and we don't, and here's the problem, we don't start taking the stuff out of that suitcase until we get to the next relationship.
Man.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's the truth. So now guess what happened? Not only is she folding the new clothes that you just bought, but she's also washing and drying and folding some of the old stuff that you got that you never threw away. And that's vice versa, even with her. You see what I'm saying? So that was my take. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sheen. I know you're going to say something.
It's good. It's cool. So I wanted to share this. So in this season of our lives right now, and this pertaining to finances, God has called my husband away from man's job, a 9 to 5.
Okay.
Why is to be like, you ain't about to leave this job? No, because we need money, we gotta pay these bills. But the wife is supposed to be submissive, right? So when God started dealing with us about my husband leaving the 9 to 5 and concentrate on the vision that he has given us, I became submissive to that decision. Like, babe, do it. God telling you to do it. Do it. Let's just trust God with our finances. Is it hard? Yes. Now we're to the point where it's more so of the income that I'm bringing in while he's working on the vision. Now, do I say, no, this is my money, you can't have my money? Like, no, you go out there and make your own money. No. And by my husband being the head, being a man, he will feel bad about coming to me, babe, can I get the debit card? And I'm like, but look, I had to stop him. Right there. Like, babe, it belongs to us. Because one thing I want to point out is, if it wasn't for God allowing me to receive the income that he has placed in my life, we wouldn't have it at all. So it belongs to us because this is the way God is providing for us. So I'm like, KB, don't feel bad when you have to go in my purse and get my debit card. It's ours. Get the debit card. Do what you need to do, for the family, or what you need for yourself. And that's part of being submissive. But at the same time, that's not allowing money to be an issue, because I can easily say, no, go out there and do your own thing. But I know what God has called us to do. And first of all, I'm not all about money. You know what I'm saying? I'm not all about this is mine, I want what I want, you don't get nothing unless you go out there and make your money. No, that's not my mindset. And I want a lot of wives to catch that even though he's the head, and even if God called him away from a certain job and he started bringing in less money, that's the right to say, no, you can't have my car, or no, you go make your own money and do your own thing. It belongs to us. And just like my husband was saying, I have to encourage him a lot, because he's still trying to wrap his mind around God has pulled me away from a 9 to 5 job. So a lot of things that God has called us to do, or called him to do, I'm still pushing him like, babe, do it. It's going to work. It's going to work. Write the music, put the CDs out. And a lot of other things that God is calling him to do, just do it. Don't worry about the man job. Because one thing we got to realize, that man's job that's temporary stuff. But when God give you something, it's going to last. Whatever you do for God is going to last. He may not be working a man's job, but we're working together for God. We're doing God's job. We're doing what he has called us to do. No matter how much I'm bringing in or how much he makes off of what God is telling him to do. We're doing it together. We're doing this together. It's all about togetherness. It's all about oneness. So yes.
Just let me say something on that, because I love that. But we do have to be a little transparent here. Everybody marriage is not on that same level, and it should be. and it should be, but it's not. And I feel like that again, that foundation, that foundation, that communication, all of that, that plan. You know, I'm an accountant, I'm a finance, you know, I'm a finance professional, okay? So planning is everything for me.
Right.
Even if I can't see it, we at least have a plan. And if we can't go to plan A, we got plan B. If we can't go to plan B, well, you know, it is what it is. But I think that communication and building that foundation, that stability, that assurance, you know, it plays a big part in taking a big step like that.
Yeah.
You know, it really does. It really does.
Yeah.
You have to have a plan. You have to.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree.
you got to. I mean, not just that, but staying dedicated with it, staying
Mhm.
dedicated with it as well. So I know man, it's been a lot of days when I got up and I felt discouraged and I wanted to go back, but at the same time I knew like okay, like Lord, either I'm gonna listen to you, or I'm gonna listen to myself. And even when I go and sit, and you know, me being a man, I try not to let my wife. I try my best to stay as strong as possible for my family, no matter how I'm feeling. So during them days when I did have those weak moments, I know my wife was there to encourage me, to motivate me. And that did help give me the strength and energy that I need to push on and to continue fighting, to continue to carry on. And so even regardless of the finances or anything else like that, my wife's like her attitude has never changed. The way she treats me has never changed. And so even with it, and this is what I mean by like where a lot of wives realize. I don't think a lot of wives realize just how much power they really got in their words. And because you got to realize, if you get in an argument, and we joke about this all the time, but it's real. If you get in an argument, or say you go to a gas station, you run up to this random woman, and she starts calling you all these different types of names. You this, that, and the third. You ain't gonna care. You don't care. But the moment you get home, you get into it with your wife, and she hits you with some of them low blows, oh, your feelings hurt. You be ready to cry in the car.
Boy, you better preach.
Cry. But that's because like those words, it's different. If it's from a stranger, I don't care. They can roll off of me. But it's coming from if it's coming from your spouse, those words can either hit them like so real quick. Like
Oh, hold on, y'all. Ooh, say the
That's when it's getting good.
Yeah, but man, but those words are coming from a stranger. It's not gonna we're not gonna care. It's not gonna bother us as much. Versus whether it's coming from our spouse. So she could have took the time out to say a bunch of negative words. She could have took the time out to say a bunch of hurtful comments. But instead, she submitted to the will and to the thing that God has called us to do. And within that, I know that she's going to receive a blessing from that. And she's going to receive a blessing just from staying true and staying focused and submitting to the will that God has given to me, to the will that God has given to her. And she says those encouraging words. And she uplifts me, she motivates me, praises me, everything else. And it helps me to continue to push on. It makes me want to do more. You know what I'm saying? It makes me want to do more. It makes me want to work hard and do different things more just because I know I got that support there.
That's it.
Y'all like wives play a huge role.
Huge. Most definitely. And that's the thing, man. I've always said that too. It's funny that you say that because sometimes me and Tia have these conversations, and she asked me why my conversation with other people is different than my conversation with her. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I have to let her know that, again, they're not my ribs.
Right.
So if it's a part of me, it's gonna hurt me. Just like if we say our children are our heart, right?
Yeah.
That means that the moment your heart stops or if it aches, you're gonna feel that.
Right.
Somebody else out here in the streets, or even if it's a member or a disciple that's part of the ministry, it's not gonna hurt because guess what? Not to say that they're not they're part of the family, but they're not a part of this thing right here that
and a part of you all the way.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. So yeah, of course, like you said, it hurts worse when it comes from you because again, and I always tell her this, she'll tell you, I always say that, I say, what you got to realize is you can't pay nobody to say certain things to me. But the thing about it is, you are who I give my life for. I'm willing to go and give my life all the way up when it comes to you. So it hurts when the person that you would give your life for would even act as if, or let words come out, and it seems like they're trying to take your life. So that's the thing that we always have to understand, regardless of what, especially being a couple. Because when God made us one, that means that whatever affects me affects you. Whatever
Exactly.
affects you affects me. That's the thing. That's what oneness is. Oneness is not, well, I do this and you do that, or I make this money and you make that money, so what I do with this is this, or what you do. No. Oneness is, yeah, I know I go to this job. Of course, I'm an individual, so I go to this job and I do what I need to do. You do what you need to do at this job. Guess what happens, though? We come right back together in this place.
Exactly.
Yep.
And we understand that, guess what? Why I'm there, because the whole time, if we're one, I'm thinking about you anyway. If we're one, you're thinking about me anyway. So we never leave each other, really. We're just making, you know what I'm saying? So here's the thing. We come back together and we make this thing pop together. That's the biggest thing. And I think that a lot of people miss that. So, that's a blessing. I mean, in our finances and everything, as men, we become the provider, protector, and the priest of our family. But here's the thing about providing. Providing means, just like you just said, if Sister Sheena's taken it to a place of saying, well, okay, I'm going to support you because my job is to be your rib. That means that I have to push you. I have to continue to push you to do what you need to do, even if you're not doing this man's job. You still know, as a provider, that you're supposed to make sure you're praying. You're supposed to make sure that she's secure. You're making sure that she's reassured that what she's doing it the right way. But the only way she'll know that is if y'all take that chance. We can't keep on talking about faith and then we're not stepping out on it.
Oh,
We
yeah.
can't
Come
keep on
on.
preaching faith, but we're not stepping out on it. So now, here's the thing. If we get to a place of talking about, and I don't mind, I get it, I understand planning, but I just want to ask a question. When God told Abraham to go to a place, even if he told him where to go, what was the plan? When God told David, or when he told Samuel to go bless David to become a king, what was the plan? Thank you. Okay, that's what I thought. When Saul became Paul, and Jesus allowed him to be able to have his sight back, what was the plan? When Ruth went with Naomi, she ain't know nothing about Boaz. What was the plan? When Esther went and did what she had to do, you know what I'm saying? When she took Vashti's place, y'all please tell me what was the plan. So that's the thing that my whole thing is, we can't talk about doing these things and preaching and teaching these words and things that we're saying, but we're not living what we're teaching.
Yeah.
And that's something that we all have to deal with. We all have to dwell with. The word is still the word. We say the word don't come back void. So that's something I have to understand. I have to honor, regardless of what. You know what I'm saying? The only person, and honestly, nobody knew his plan until he decided to put it out there, and that was Jesus. Only person. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else had a plan, period. So we got to get to a place of understanding that we can plan all day long, but if God don't want it to work, it's not going to work anyway.
Amen.
Because a lot of times we can plan things and God will say, that's not what I wanted you to do. So now that you planned all this and this plan looks so great and you put it on paper, oh man, it looks like $1 trillion plan. But guess what happens? It'll fall because God didn't ordain that plan.
Yep.
Wow.
When God is saying, you pray to me, you stay with me, and watch how I slay the beast. It's just that simple.
Amen.
Because the thing is, you have to trust in me. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 does not say trust in the plan. It says trust in the Lord with all thine heart.
Yes.
It says lean not to my own understanding. So here's my thing. My understanding is my plan, because I understand my plan because I wrote it.
Right.
Amen.
But if I'm not leaning out to my own understanding, that means that I'm leaning on to him. That means that the plan that he got for me, I don't understand it. I don't know it. I got to continue to go.
Come on now.
It says with all thy heart, acknowledge him, and then what? He will make your crooked path straight. But I have to acknowledge him in everything I do, regardless of what's going on. Even if I fail, I got to acknowledge him. When I fall, I got to acknowledge him. When I trip, I got to acknowledge him. Each and everything I do, I have to acknowledge him. I don't get back and say, let me get this plan together. I have to continue to acknowledge him, and he'll make my crooked path straight. This is what we got to get to. We got to get away from trying to do things on our own. That's the problem. And we watch other people do it on their own, and it didn't work. Every time we try to do it on our own, it never works. Let's be honest. How many times have we put a plan, or we have put things in focus how we wanted to go, and it worked? Honestly, all of us, all four of us, can sit here and be honest with you and count on one hand and still have 4 fingers left and maybe 5, and we can sit up there and say it's never worked.
It never worked.
Exactly.
It
Wow.
never worked, man.
I told y'all when you asked me, or when you asked us how we met, I said this was gonna be my wife. So guess what? Y'all want to know something? I had a whole plan. It didn't work. You get what I'm saying? Because it
Yeah.
wasn't my plan. It just being honest. Because I'm gonna be real with y'all. When I went into my next phase of life, I gave up on that, and I knew what God said to me. Did y'all hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because He said His plan, and now we together. We're here. We
Wow.
just celebrated. We celebrate. Come on now. So you can't tell me about a plan. She didn't plan. She didn't plan for us to be together. We didn't plan this. So we can't keep talking about plans that God didn't ordain. Only what you do for Christ will do what? Will last. Not what I do for Katie, Sheena, Tiana, or Larry. Only what we do for Christ will last. That's it. It don't matter what we do for. Let's be honest. We can do everything in the world for our children. Do it last? No, because they'll forget what we do real quick when they get upset at us, and they're gonna do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It don't matter. It don't matter that you get your whole life for your child. When your child get to a place where they are getting stubborn, or they feeling some type of way, they smelling themselves, guess what's gonna happen? They gonna do their own thing anyway.
Yep.
And they won't remember until you are hurt, or you in the grave, or something going on with you. That's the only time they'll remember old mama, old daddy. You get what I'm saying? Only what you do for Christ will last, family. And that's what I'm learning.
Man, you minister, man. You minister
I'm sorry.
in many ways. I needed to hear a lot of what you said, man. That was a blessing for real. So I just want to make one more point before we get off. So back to the finance part, in marriage. I know that I have seen in the marriage club on Facebook, where I have seen a lot of couples say that they have separate bank accounts. Now, now that really didn't sit right with me, because I'm like, well, if you're married, you one flesh, everything belongs to you. Why do you have a separate bank account? Why not, if you're one flesh, the money belongs to the both of you, why not have that one account for the both of you? Doesn't that make sense?
It makes all the sense in the world.
I don't get why married couples have 2 separate accounts. Like, what do you like?
That's never been in that I believed in anyway.
I mean, it seems like to me you trying to hide something. Like, I'm gonna keep this in my account, you keep your account. No, you together. The accounts belong together. The accounts,
It's oneness. It's that oneness. Bring that oneness back to marriage.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I totally agree.
I just want to make that point for whoever is listening. Married couples, the accounts belong together. Ain't no separateness. This mine, that's yours. It's together. This is ours.
Amen.
Marriage is all about oneness.
It is about oneness. But again, okay, can I just be real? Okay, because I'm hearing everything. Everybody, listen, I'm not disagreeing in no shape, form, or fashion about this whole conversation. But I do say that it is based on, number one, that respect, that foundation, and that communication. Because we have separate bank accounts. And because of issues that has occurred that we are working through so that we can bring that oneness solid. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Everybody has to be on the same accord when you are doing everything. you know, and the distrust and things like there are kinks, y'all.
Yeah.
There are kinks, and every marriage is not as solid as it needs to be on that level. I would say that.
Well,
And
that's
it
what.
should be.
Well, this is
But
why. This is why I bring. But this is why I bring that up though, because you don't want that to, like, the enemy will look for any type of door opener, any
yeah,
little thing that he can use. He's coming in.
Mhm.
So
yeah,
to keep that confusion and that distrust, you like, let's just say the spouse going to other spouse account. Hey, why you spending on this? Why you went to this restaurant and did it? You know, it's just too much chaos. And the enemy will use a little bit. I mean, people will look at, that ain't nothing. You know, I can have my account, you have yours. And they look at it and say, it's a simple thing. But we have to be very mindful that the enemy is sneaky. And if he see any type of door opener, he's coming. So why not keep that confusion down? Why not keep the enemy where he belongs, keep him in his place? Look, I don't want you to have any distrust in me. So let's just come together and let's just get this one bank account so you can see what I'm doing. I can see what you're doing, and we don't have to have no kind of issues whatsoever. Right?
Right.
And also with that too, one of the things you said was that you said it's something that y'all working on, that y'all working toward, which is something else I applaud y'all on, the fact that you're actually working it out, the fact that you're actually finding out. And this thing, like God, so a lot of times when God will bring stuff up, or God will allow stuff to come up as a correction.
Right.
And it's the things like, like this is what I was doing by myself, this is what you were doing by yourself. All right, now let's come together and let's compromise and let's try and figure this thing out together so that we can have the oneness there. I mean, so, you know, if you do have the separate bank accounts, everyone know what works for their marriage. And, you know, we know every marriage is different. That was something that I practiced, that I saw, and that I liked, and I always had that idea, and I always practiced that going into our marriage. So, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, but we everyone got those kinks. Everyone got those things that they gotta work out. Everyone got those rough patches that they gotta work on, that they gotta deal with.
Mhm.
And the point is, as long as you never stop working,
Yes.
as long as you never stop trying, as long as you never stop, you know, fighting for the things that you know that God has blessed you with. So keep fighting. Keep fighting for your marriage. Keep working on those kinks.
Yeah.
Keep ironing out those rough patches. Keep ironing out those wrinkles, because the more you do it, and the more that y'all come together as one, the closer you'll become.
Yep.
The closer you become, the less room Satan got to come inside of anyone's marriage, point blank period. So continue to work out and continue to do whatever, you know, what you feel like, whatever you feel like you need to do within y'all marriage to make sure y'all marriage lasts, to make sure y'all get everything straightened out and situated and everything. Because like I said, it takes time.
Yeah, it does.
It honestly takes time.
Marriage takes work. It takes work.
But if y'all just wrapping up now, because I know we went a little over time.
Yeah, we always go over time. We're gonna wrap up. So, what is that one testimony that you guys want to share with married couples, even the people that are seeking to be married one day? What is one testimony you want to share that God has done in your marriage to just give married couples that extra boost? Like, wow, they can work it out, we can work it out.
Mhm.
You know, give that one testimony that God has done for y'all in y'all marriage.
I would definitely say the communication. I think we are getting better, a little better in our communication. And I mean, yeah, in our communication. I mean, it's important. Communication and setting that tone, you know, making your spouse feel secure is so important, especially women. You know, we don't feel like we have that sense of security, then it's pretty much over with. Like, it's, you know, meaning over with, like, okay, you know, I gotta go and get 2 or 3 jobs or whatever to make it happen. So, or even, you know, a man, the husband, he has to also feel that sense of security from his wife. So I think that is very, very important.
The mic.
One of the biggest goals on marriage. And you do have to be one, you're one. So we should be able to do everything as one.
Right.
That's why you have to, like you said, work at it, keep striving and make it happen.
Yeah.
You have to.
You gotta keep fighting. One thing that I've always had in my heart is that I'm not finna let nothing or nobody take what God has given me. That's one thing I hold on to. Like, I don't care what people say. It don't matter what people say. It don't matter what people do. You will not come and take from me what God has given me. So whatever I gotta do to make this marriage last, I'm gonna do it, and we gonna fight. There has been plenty of times we had to fight, we had to pray, we had to fast, we had to fight, we had to pray, we had to fast.
You had to do it together.
We had to work at it, and and even with these real tips that God give me, like, the book actually is helping us. This is not something that I write off the top of my head or topics that I come up with off the top of my head. These things come from God.
Right.
God told me when he told me to start the Real Tips Live was God is really after married couples building that strong foundation. God wants us all to hold on to what he has put together.
That's it.
I would say, what he put together, let no man take it away. And God wants to see us happy. He wants to see our marriage striving. So whatever we got to do, and we got to realize that the enemy hates union. So he's going to come in and bring in some type of distraction to bring some type of separation to what God has placed together. And in order for us to keep what God has given us, we got to fight for that thing. We got to fight for that thing. So
I agree.
And one of the one of those words that you said that's really big and it's impacting is togetherness. It is like you have to be together on all things and not just what you want to be together on. Like, it has to work all or nothing, pretty much.
Exactly.
It's a union.
And like you were saying, communication. Sometimes, like, my husband had an issue with communicating with me, and so I'm thinking, in my mind, what is he feeling? Why is he not talking? And I got all kind of thoughts going on in my head until he actually come and tell me. And then when he tells me, and vice versa, when I tell him, then we're able to come together and work this thing out. But if you don't communicate, you won't know what each other is thinking.
Exactly.
Work through something if you don't tell each other what you're thinking. So communication is the top of the line. You got to have community. You gotta talk. You gotta talk. Ain't no going in this room when I get mad. Ain't no sleeping on the sofa when you get mad. No, we gonna sleep in this same bed. We gonna talk in this same bed. We gonna pray in this same bed, and we can work this thing out.
And we ain't talking to everybody else about our marriage. We talking to each other about our marriage. Because at the end of the day, getting all that out of source, whatever, they going on about their business, but you still mad at your spouse. No, we keep the private.
And that's one thing I'm very, very solid on, because like you said, hey, y'all can argue, but heck, we'll be all right. And I done told mama and sister them and everybody looking at them all crazy and everything. So I mean, and again, that is all learned, in your relationship. It is. It's nothing. It's something that you're gonna have to go through in order to work through. You know what I'm saying? Because again, we are really knowing each other every single day. Like, every single day, I'm learning something new about him, or he's learning something new about me. Or I'm trying to fix me every day, or pray and ask God to help me through every day as well as he is. So it's all learning, it's all growing. You know what I'm saying? As long as you keep at it, it gets better. It gets
Yes.
better. It's when you stop. It's when you shut down. And when you get in those petty moments. Those petty moments is not gonna make things work, and it ain't gonna make things happen.
It's
Right,
not.
right,
You
right.
know.
It ain't at all.
So you know, it's either it's all or nothing. It is
Yeah.
all or nothing. If we can't come together, all or it's all or nothing. And that's my whole kick.
Right.
All or
Hey,
nothing.
And
We
you
in this
can't
thing to win.
and you can't be so quick to just walk away, you know? You
mm-mm.
can't be so
You
quick to
gotta
walk
fight
away.
for
You
it.
gotta fight through that thing.
You gotta fight for it.
So we're gonna go on in this real tip. Thank y'all
Thank y'all so much. We
much.
love y'all. Thank y'all.
We
All
love
right.
y'all and we appreciate y'all for getting on and talking marriage with us. And I just really do pray that whoever needed to hear this live, that they receive some wisdom, they receive some
Mhm.
knowledge, and that they continue to build their marriage stronger and stronger and stronger every day. So
That's
again,
it.
thank y'all. I love y'all so much.
Thank y'all.
Love
Love y'all.
Holler at
ya.
y'all next time. Blessings.
Better know it. Peace.